Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of Final Fantasy XIII. In the last episode, we defeated XIII Mark mission number 11 by defeating the Adroa up here on, I believe it's the Northern High Plain or something like that. And now we are here, ready to head over towards XIII and taking on him. So XIII, this is one of the Undying, so we've already faced one of the Undying, which was Bituitous. Essentially the Undying are these Seath that are particularly noted for being particularly strong. XIII is one of these. So we can certainly expect a bit of a fight from him. He won't make things easy for us. So, but obviously before that we've got to get over to where XIII is, and that requires taking out all of these Gorgonos bits, etc., etc. Battles that we've done many times before by now, but we've got to keep doing just to... There we go, lovely. We may have done that one before, doesn't matter, we've done it again now, it's all good. We'll head over here. There are some more Gorgonos bits. It's very difficult to keep track of which battles you've already done, given that you sort of end up zigzagging across the map so often, but again, not really too much of a problem. We will most certainly end up doing the vast majority of these battles, is the important thing. That Gorgonos bit is a dead Gorgonos bit. It is quite literally both times it seems to be that we can do pretty much just one round of Smart Bomb followed by one round of Relentless Assault, which should be enough on most of these guys. Which is pretty cool. Maybe we could have stayed in with Relentless Assault there, but there we go, lovely. We are slowly but surely getting stronger and stronger, which is nice, especially when I actually use up my Cristeria. So, the ATB level is what we really want to get as fast as possible, although there are other things that we can aim for. I'm going to aim for the ATB. 3, 5,000 away, cool. Pretty sure yours is in Sentinel. And only 3,000 away, so we should at least, by the end of the XIII battle, we should most certainly be able to buy most of these things, which is pretty cool. Do we have Curasa is a good question. Pretty sure we do. There's Curaja, which is an absolute godsend. One of the best abilities in the game. There's Curasa. It's essentially just Super Cura. So, we'll make our way south. The XIII battle essentially takes place on a small little, one of these small plateaus around the edge of this region. It's quite cool, actually. Because it is an Undying battle, sort of deemed as one of the bigger battles, and so what happens is that we're actually going to get pretty significant change to not just the environment, but also the enemies that are around here. So normally we would see lots of Layak and Rangda on this little plateau down here, but because we've triggered our Geyseric battle, we're actually going to start seeing Taxims and maybe some Strigoi. I think we've met Strigoi before. Let's check. Data log, enemy intel, Seath, Taxim. We didn't actually do Edamu, but it doesn't matter. Gratuitous, cool. I mean, if I wanted to get, we won't manage to get quite full. We were never going to be able to get quite full our data log, unfortunately, because I did actually miss one earlier on in the game. Like all of these, like Ugalo, Iridamu, we will battle again, I think. Navadon we've battled. The Flan are just monstrous Flan. The goblins are goblins, which can maestros. But yeah, I think I missed. See the Amling Bellows. I think we missed a Vespid. Yeah, a Vespid. So because I was zipping through my battles so fast, I actually missed this one. So I didn't actually have all the full data. So unfortunately, we won't be able to max out our data log entries, which kind of sucks because I quite like doing that. It's like just, you know, OCD sort of stuff. Needing everything to be done. So anyway, we have lots of Taxim around here, and we have fought these before. These guys aren't too difficult. They are weak to every element at the start, which means that it's literally usually just a matter of stagger. Get to stagger as fast as possible, and then just pummel them as much as possible. Bully is actually going to be very useful here, I think. So we'll just haste everyone. We have a choice of literally everything that we can shove on snow. I'll probably go, let's go Bravery and Thunder. Just because we haven't had the chance to use in Thunder for a while. So, are you weak to... You're not weak to D-Peril. D-Protect or D-Shell, which kind of sucks, but... Nothing we can do about that. So you can see we're doing huge amounts of damage. Hopefully Snow gets in... Yes, there we go. Okay, so you're down. Wonderful. I think we just need to stay in Relentless Assault here, and it will just, we'll finish off this guy relatively fast. Snow, again, is obviously our main damage dealer throughout all of this. Lovely. So yeah, there are a lot of Taxim battles. All of them, like I say, are not that difficult. Especially if you get preemptives. I mean, they're not necessary. The Taxims don't do that much damage to you. I think the worst thing they can do is wail. Okay, so their physical does 300-ish, so that's not too bad. Could be worse. So unfortunately we missed stagger on this guy, which kind of sucks. But we can very quickly stagger him again, and then I wonder how Snow's actually taken the most damage, given that he should be the one that's constantly up in the air, but there we go. So So yeah, Geyseric's going to be certainly a test. It's going to be a lot tougher than most of the... It could be a standard sort of Seath Zone mission, so a fair step up from the sort of, you know, the standard enemies that we see wandering the steppe. So there is a lovely illustration of Smite doing a hell of a load of damage. So there's Whale. That's going to be annoying. There's nothing I can do about that. You just need to hope that they don't attack when you're dazed, because yeah, daze can be really annoying. I think I mentioned this when we were battling in chapter 10, I think it was, against like this. I don't think there was Stakani. It might have been Skatani and Stakini, but yeah. But daze is just very, very annoying. It does. Like anything that you can use, and you certainly can use daze very effectively in certain battles, but anything that you can use, your enemies can use as well. It's just one of those status elements that's particularly annoying. I'm not even sure there is actually an item that gets rid of it. So the convenient thing about actually having Geyseric turn up and remove all of this is that actually all of these items now become collectible, whereas normally if you wanted to pick up these items you'd need to do battles. Obviously that doesn't apply to us, because we'll be doing all the battles anyway, but that is just something. Just some information for you there. I do want to see if we can get a preemptive just for making things even simpler, but nope. The fact they have such low stagger is really, really helpful. It just means that, you know, we just need to pump. Just... So we get to bully, haste, bravery, haste, faith, haste. And then this time we'll go for and water on snow. Because why not? There's Whale, which does unfortunately hit me, and it hits Vanille in the end. So don't hit me, hits Vanille. You can see, yeah, so it does 860 instead of 300-ish, so it's about double damage. Or even a bit more. What these attack sim battles do mean is that hopefully we should actually be able to get to our extra ATB segments for both Saz and Snow before actually taking on Geyseric, which is really, really helpful. Let's get that Imperil on. Lovely. Don't even know if she got it on. She did. Cool. There we go.
Wisdom does complicate.
Nice work. So I can pick up the item down here. A fire charm. Pop up for some more Taksim battles. There's nothing over there. There's some more Taksim battles. Yeah, so they're difficult to get preemptives on, it seems, but it doesn't actually matter. These battles are not hard. Lovely. So down they go.
Too easy.
Take out those 2 tac sims. Now we've got another 2 tac sims to take care of over here. Again, no preemptive, that's fine. These might be the last 2 or penultimate 2, regardless, it should be fine.
Changing the play.
Oh, we get the stagger off, but has hit Vanille, unfortunately, but there we go. We'll wait until Imperil lands, there we go. Beautiful. So all of those guys are now down, which should hopefully just leave XIII himself. Slightly worried about this one. It's going to be difficult. I'm tempted to bring Hope just for protect. We might need it. So whether I want to start off, we definitely will want that. And then whether we actually run Relentless Assault, yeah, we should definitely run Relentless. I mean, we could run Kerberos actually here because there will only be one enemy. Relentless Assault is very good though. I guess if I'm working on Stagger, then I probably wouldn't. Yeah. Gonna see how this goes. I'm not entirely sure whether we're actually in the position to actually deal with this. Thankfully, though, what will help certainly is that an extra ATB segment for me and an extra ATB segment for Snow. So I believe we have 7 lives. I think it was 7 last I checked. So let's see if we can keep those as we go on to battle XIII, the Profane. So, there he is, XIII, the Profane. So we're not going to use Libra straight away because there is always a chance that he will actually... he has a special ability, which we need to worry about. We see that he is immediately... That was beautifully done, Vanille there. So, we're going to put Faith on Vanille as our... We definitely want to see how much he does. So he doesn't do that much when we have a Sentinel. But obviously, that's very greatly going to depend on... So you can see we now have... me and Snow will now be able to attack 5 times instead of just the thing. So he's immune to both the other 2. Okay, right, so... So we're just going to try and... we're going to spam some damage here. It seems he is most certainly resistant to physical... which kind of sucks. It means that we definitely want to be thinking faith a lot. that does a lot. 500. Okay. Still, it helps to know that we just need to be using faith. It does look like he's actually going to be weak to like literally every element, which is really good for us. So we are going to use that to our advantage. Okay, Murderous Might. So this is why we haven't used our... Snow, I would love for you to launch him. Could you launch him, please? Okay. So we're going to summon him. We need to get everyone back up to health, and summoning is an excellent way of doing that. He is still staggered, which means that we should be able to do a lot of damage with our final turn.
There you are. About time you showed up.
Okay, so we're just going to very quickly. We're trying to squeeze this into his stagger period here. So we're going to immediately go into Gestalt and then immediately use our superpower.
That's right.
I mean, Eidolons don't generally do a huge amount of damage anyway, and this is actually, you know, just how it goes. Go. Yes, we fit it in. We fit it in before the end of stagger, which is really good. So this is about as much damage as we can do with stagger, with our Eidolon anyway. We're going to take that way out into the... So the important thing now is that everyone comes back. And now what we want to do... So essentially by... like, with that fist he's got, it just means that he does a lot more damage. So we would love to get back to haste, actually. So once we get stagger, which we should get relatively soon, hopefully. Okay, so that does a lot of damage. So that's what we want. We want him to get launched, essentially. And then we'd love to juggle him if we can. Fortunately, that does look slightly impossible for us here. And unfortunately, Snow has decided not to. We're going to die here. No, we're not. Wow. We got really lucky there, I think. Pretty sure we should have died, but we did not. So he's really low on health, which is actually really, really good for us. Obviously. He's going to go for Murderous Might once more, which is essentially going to generate a secondary being called XIII's Fist. And this is what allows him to do so much damage. So if I just use a Libra Scope now. Before we get stagger, lovely. I'm just going to go quickly into Solidarity. We're going to try and get this. So the reason that's not doing nearly as much damage is because of our Sentinel. Our Sentinel there is doing so much work for us. So what I think has actually happened is that when we went into our... Eidolon actually managed to take out XIII's Fist with the attack. And what that meant is that he no longer did nearly as much damage with his fist attacks, which is really, really good. Anyway, we defeat XIII. There we go. XIII is done. We earn the rank of the Bane Slayer. We get a Royal Armlet as well, which I think... defends from both magical and physical attacks by 10% maybe. I might be talking rubbish there. So there we go. We defeat XIII. And now everything returns back to normal. We can see the usual Rangda and Layak of the area are back. And, well, since they're around, we might as well take care of them. Sounds so weird. So we need to kill whatever's conjuring as fast as possible. I think it may just have been a Layak that was summoning another Rangda, which is fine. Really is fine. Not any trouble for us at all. But if they'd wanted to summon something other than a Rangda, then we would have. Then it would have been interesting at least. We would have seen what these guys actually managed to summon. I'm pretty sure it's no like brand unique enemy, otherwise I would have seen it in things. I would have heard about it online, but there we go. So we have this Layak that seemed to sort of be worshipping the Rangda before it, rather interestingly. So we might as well just make Snow stupidly powerful and then kill these guys. There we go. Beautiful. Preemptives are so good. So we defeat those guys. It looks like we've got a couple over here, and then a group somewhere else. And then we'll be done with this bit. And now, we'll start working our way towards actually getting access to that Final Fantasy staple that is the Chocobos. So yeah, so essentially we want to get access to our Chocobos as soon as possible. Chocobos allow for obviously faster traversal and lots of other very nice benefits. There we go, lovely. But we first, essentially, the path that we're taking. So what the battle with XIII does is that it opens up that paling that I mentioned earlier. That paling allows us to. So we defeated those two. We defeated those guys over there. I think it's just these ones here that we haven't fought. And maybe the 4 in front of that as well. So obviously we see the conjure, we can't really do anything about it. He's just going to conjure up a Rangda, that's fine. So obviously we interrupted that guy's attempt to conjure by staggering him. And then this Rangda will go down to our commando attacks because it's de-protected. But yeah, no. So defeating XIII gets rid of the paling that blocks us from an area of the map where we find Chocobos. In order to then be able to ride the Chocobos, we need to get the Gazal reins and in order to get the Ghazal reins, we need to essentially do some missions that involve rescuing chocobos. So, our final battle from this area are these guys. We will just quake, because why not? Especially because that guy's conjuring.
Changing gear.
He's like, I'm trying to conjure. No, I'm just going to knock you up in the air.
No problem.
Beautiful work. So, there we go. I think that is everything for this little area. Don't think there's any... we took care of... Those running guys are the guys that we took care of right at the start, so... Because they're the guys over by... Oh no, they're not actually. Is this where we fought guys, Eric? I don't think it quite is. We'll take care of these guys anyway. I think it's a slightly larger group. Again, nothing to worry about. We'll try and get a few more deep attacks on if we can. It should just be a matter of attacking and we'll get through these guys. There we go. Lovely. Okay, cool. I just say, aren't the fluffy sheep adorable? Aren't they just adorable? Oh, they're so cute. Anyway, okay, don't mean to get sidetracked. Okay, so we're now looking for the next XIII stone, and this one will take us to around where the Sahagins are. So if I just check the map. We have a waste stone, actually, that's just been activated. Is that the one that we need? Is that the one that we need? We might do that, Zach. I don't think it is, though. There's another one. I think that's the one we need, just there. So we'll just head back to where we came, activate that. We might be able to squeeze it in this episode, just because I'm pretty sure where the battle is very close by. And the battle itself, I don't think is too much of a trouble. There are two battles, essentially, that take place in this little area. I think it's called Namvar's Font, which is where we find the chocobos. And I think there are two battles that occur in this area, and the first one is pretty simple, and the second one is really quite difficult. Just because there's a bunch of enemies that do a lot of damage for where we are in the game currently. Because we're still not that powerful. We're still pretty puny compared to a lot of the enemies around us. And whilst we can deal with them marginally better than we could, we still can't, like, properly defeat these guys. So we've defeated, I'm pretty sure we've now done all of the Gorgonospid crews around this area, so I'm not going to worry about them. We're going to go to this XIII stone. Oh no, wrong one. Okay, sorry. Well, anyway. Eternity on Pro. This is 13, which is the right one, so anyway. The Archilster Goblin Chieftain. It is a cruel and contemptible contest the Falsi have devised, but one from which I may not yet absent myself. We assembled Lassie must overcome innumerable obstacles as we compete to slay the Goblin Chieftain on the northern high plain. The prize? Freedom from bondage as a Lassie. I will win, be made human again, and return to propose to my lover, from whose arms the tyrant Falsi stole from me. So, another interesting sort of, again, Obviously, these guys know only what the fal'Cie tell them, so potentially the fal'Cie's lying when it says that it can turn them back into a human. I would suggest to think that that is the case, just because it doesn't really fit the rest of the sort of doesn't fit the rest of the lore to have fal'Cie's able to turn to have a way for l'Cie to be turned back into humans. Like, there's no evidence of that anywhere else. So I don't think that's actually what happens there. I think maybe the freedom just means being turned back into a crystal, and he's misunderstood it. But what you also see here is sort of like just quite nice illustrations of what the fal'Cie mean to the people of Pulse, and how the fal'Cie used the people of Pulse and their various clans and stuff like that to just defeat various enemies, encourage them to do various almost chores for them. So yes, this is number 13. And then eventually, hopefully, we'll start doing some of the teleports, the waystones, because the waystones are really helpful. Just the ability to move faster through the area is always appreciated. We've done that Megistetherian battle. If we see the behemoth, we might want to take him on this time, especially if we can get a preemptive, just because it would be a nice sort of finishing. Take on the behemoth and then take on the goblin chieftain, which is obviously just very similar to a Munchkin Maestro, just sort of like a chieftain of goblins and stuff like that. So yeah, it just depends whether we can do enough damage to him or actually stagger him before he actually starts standing up and killing us. Let's try it. It looks like we're actually going to get a preemptive here. If we can, that would be awesome. We do want to be in Smart Bomb. Techniques. Quake. The reason we're quaking is because it slows down that stagger quite a lot, compared to, say, Ravager moves, which will almost certainly just trigger it. We've seen that you are also weak to Imperil, so we do want Imperil on. So there's Imperil, okay. So because we're in aggression, we can do stupid amounts of damage to this guy very, very quickly, and he is going to go down very, very easily. Lovely. Lovely. You can see that with the added ATB bar also, it should actually give us more capacity to juggle, which is really, really good. Because juggling is especially useful. Okay, so we're just going to use up our crystal area, and then we'll take on this next battle. We should access that accessory slot. You also have an accessory slot that we want to try and get to. That is actually a long way away though. It's all the way around there. What's that? Water R. We'll try and get to it as best as we can. Cool. And then accessory 1 of 1, ATB level, another accessory actually here. So. Cool, so equipment, we'll just equip, So, if I was like, ATB advantage, Tetra defense, random insta-chain. Random insta-chain is really good. Well, wow, Snow has not had any items on him for some reason. Resist damage is very good. We obviously want a bangle, and we want a physical I think actually Fang actually has the things that we want to get. So yeah, sorry that we actually didn't have our settings actually. Surprised that we found the other battle so nice actually. Anyway, that is that. We'll now take on these goblins. So the thing with goblins and these enemies, this type of enemy, is that you don't want to kill the chieftain first, because if you kill the big guy first, then the other guys go through their I think it's called a move called Rise to Power, I believe it's called, and that's what they'll do, and they'll essentially they'll grow into a much more dangerous enemy. So, Imperil will be very useful here, essentially. We're going to put Faith on Neil, Faith, and then Fire on me. And Fire is good on Saz, because obviously I use a lot of Fire-type moves anyway. So it allows me to do a lot of damage quite quickly. Especially because these guys are resistant to air and resistant to electric, which are the only two other ones that I would use. So, we'll quickly take care of one goblin. There we go. So you can see the goblin enhancements allow these guys to use Goblin Punch. They now obviously have Bravery attached to them as well, which makes them slightly more threatening. Not hugely so, but relatively so. It looks like Vanilla has Dispel, which is really useful. So obviously she is able to get rid of the buffs that are being given to these goblins. So we're slowly making our way through these minor enemies. Nothing too dangerous so far. We can now get our third stagger, reapply D-Shell, and then really hit everything on him. Lovely. The chieftain should be no more trouble than the other guys were, especially because we can just dump a huge amount of status ailments on him. He does quite a lot of damage, but he's also launchable, so as long as we get stagger, or as soon as we get stagger, he should be pretty much donezo. I'm going to try and get Imperil on, just because even more damage. There we go. Obviously I have run out of haste, but that's not going to be any trouble for us. There's no way he's going to be able to take out us all in that time. And there we go, lovely. So we take care of XIII Mission 13, along with XIII Mission 12. And that is going to be it for this episode of my Let's Challenge of Final Fantasy XIII. I hope you have enjoyed it. In the next episode, we'll get to encountering some chocobos. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll see me on the next